evening to you. Welcome to Citizen Sunday Live. And tonight I am in some very good company, in the company of Emmanuel Ndongo.
Good evening, everyone at home. Thank you very much for joining us this Sunday evening. I'll be giving you the sports news a little bit later on. We have plenty of action in the FKF Premier League, some motorsport, and much more to come as well.
All right, so I look forward to learning a lot because you know me in sports. But coming up, we also have an interview with the First Lady, Rachel Ruto. She sat down with Nimrod Tabu and they discussed table banking. So you have that to look forward to. And Citizen Planet by Brenda Wanga. And she looks at the possible merger of the Lake Baringo and Lake Bogoria. That's right, and that's because they've bust their banks. Thank you very much for that help. So keep it Citizen Sunday Live. The hashtag is Citizen Sunday Live. My ex is at O Burrows. What's yours?
Sorry, say that again? Oh, my ex.
Yeah.
Emmanuel ND.
Okay, Emmanuel ND.
With an I. With an Emmanuel.
Okay, so I-double-M. All right, we got it. And at Citizen TV Kenya, the highlights. Machakos road tragedy. Nationwide road death toll rises to 9 in 24 hours after 3 perish in a car crash along the Nairobi-Mombasa highway. New clashes in Transmara. 2 killed, dozens injured as fighting erupts in Angata Barikoi area. Chaos in Kabuchai. 1 killed, several nursing bullet wounds as campaign violence rears ugly head in Western Kenya. Centuries-old homes brought down. Thousands vacate Makongeni Estate as bulldozers move in to clear way for affordable housing units. I am joined by Belinda Phillips as our sign language interpreter. President William Ruto has accused the media of fanning propaganda while staging a robust defense of President Yoweri Museveni, whose claim to the Kenyan coastline led to widespread public condemnation. The president, who spoke in Tororo, Uganda, during the groundbreaking of the Devki Mega Steel project, says Museveni's remarks were distorted. With that report is Ayub Abdikadir.
In the brotherly response, evidently lacking was the fitting diplomatic response to President Museveni's claim to Kenyan waters.
We also want in a very
President William Ruto instead taking up the clarification and interpretation assignment before his counterpart in Uganda.
Journalist space, and it is good I speak about it here, tried to create an impression that Uganda had said something to the effect that they need to access the sea by all means. Let me assure the naysayers that Uganda and Kenya are brothers and sisters, and we do not have time for negative engagement.
The president downplaying the gravity of his peer's statement. Museveni had, in a threat scene targeting Kenya on November the 11th, warned of wars within the East African community in order to secure access to the Indian Ocean.
But that ocean belongs to me. Because where is my ocean? I'm entitled to that ocean. In the future, we are going to have wars. In the future, we're going to have wars. How can you say that you are in a block of flats, that the compound belongs to only the flats on the ground floor, that the compound belongs to the whole block? So me, I just watch these people. You are really endangering yourself. How can you have a situation like this?
It is in Uganda where the president also revived privatization talk, exporting his call for the cause, extending an invitation to Kampala.
Kenya will be divesting up to 65% And I am happy that Uganda is prepared to co-invest with us, because that Kenya pipeline facility is not just a Kenyan facility. It is a regional facility.
The president also called on the two nations to focus on job creation, the attraction of investment and deepening regional cooperation.
Now, Ayub Abdikadir has the latest for us from the by-election campaign trail, and violence continues to rear its ugly head in the ongoing by-election campaigns, with incidents reported in ward and parliamentary by-elections in Bungoma, Kakamega and Machakos counties. The opposition has condemned what it called orchestrated violence, calling for investigations into the chaos that broke up Governor George Natembea's rally in Kabuchai. Again, here is Ayub Abdikadir.
96 hours before polling day, a 70-year-old man becomes a casualty of the chaos that characterized the high-stakes Chwele Kabuchai ward by-election campaigns.
There was one person, a 70-year-old man, who during the stampede was injured. And when he was rushed to Narondo Health Center, he succumbed later at night.
Kabuchai MP Majimbo Kalasinga picking up the pieces of sections of his damaged house, calling for swift action from the IEBC against people he alleged orchestrated the damage on his house.
The destroyed property kwa hoteli was worth 3 million. Hapa, they have destroyed 1.5 million. In a span of 3 weeks. And the purpose of the destruction is the by-election. I'm not going to fear anybody. All this that has happened will never haitaniweka baridi.
The event in Kabuchai attracting condemnation from the opposition quarters.
Vile mutafanya itadhihirishia Wakenya kwamba wale wako tayari hawatagawanyika tena, watapiga kura pamoja, kura ya kujikomboa.
Tunasema serikali wakati wa kutumia fujo kugandamiza wanasiasa ambao wanapinga serikali iliisha na Moi. Hii enzi ya Gen Z hakuna kuiba kura.
At Machakos police station, tense environment characterizes the forthcoming Mumbuni North Ward by-election. Violence during the campaigns leading to the assault of John Wambua Musau, who is now admitted at Machakos Level 5 Hospital.
Election violence is an election offense. Na kwa hivyo tumeuliza polisi ndio waweze kuchukua hatua mara moja. Kwa sababu wale ambao wamefanya hiki kitendo ni watu ambao wanajulikana. Na polisi wameambiwa na kuna wale witness ambao wamewaona, na kwa bahati nzuri vile vile kuna videos.
The attacks during different campaign trails come 3 days after the IEBC fined Kasipul parliamentary candidates 1 million Kenya shillings each over violations of Electoral Code of Conduct. And despite the yellow card from the umpire and possible disqualification from the race, the trade continues across the divide. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.
The death toll from road accidents has risen to 9 in 24 hours after 3 more people died in a crash along the Nairobi-Mombasa highway. The accident, which involved a 43-seater passenger vehicle and a lorry, left scores of people injured. This comes as 2 more survivors of the Mboni accident were discharged, with 2 still in critical condition. With more is Laura Otieno.
Barely 2 days after the accident that claimed 6 lives in Makueni County, more people have perished in another road crash in the neighboring Machakos County. 3 people died on the spot when an unregistered lorry that was driven on the wrong side towards Nairobi collided head-on with a 43-seater vehicle at Chumbi Shopping Center.
Huyu brother yangu akona uzoefu wa miaka 20. Hata haijai kongwa. Kwa hivyo anaonekana alikuwa kwa laini yake. Na ameacha watoto na bibi. Kwa hivyo naomba serikali isaidie.
He was trying to kwenda side ile ingine. So kuna hiyo gari ilikuwa on the opposite side. Yenye ilikuwa on our line. So hiyo lori ndio ilikuja na head collision with the bus yenye tulikuwa ndani yake.
Scores of people were injured and getting treatment at Machakos Level 5 Hospital. Elsewhere, 2 survivors of the Friday Ngoluni accident have been discharged from Makueni County Referral Hospital. A total of 11 people had been rushed to the facility. The accident claimed 6 lives on the spot after a lorry rammed into a passenger vehicle.
Tunabaki na wagonjwa 9. Wengi wao wako katika hali ambayo ni imeweza kudhibitiwa, lakini wawili bado wako katika hali ambayo ni tete.
Pia tutatuma madaktari wetu ambao wataenda kuangalia hiyo hayo mambo ya postmortem, na tutafanya hiyo postmortem at the cost of the government of Makueni County.
The fatalities come barely 1 week after NTSA raised an alarm over increased road traffic accidents, which had hit more than 4,000 in 11 months. The authority says it will retest selected drivers in order to avoid road carnage.
We are also going to have joint enforcement programs between ourselves and the National Police Service. And with this I want to emphasize that these are friendly checkpoints.
The authority will also conduct impromptu checks on the road ahead of the December festivities. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
2 middle-aged men were killed as fresh clashes erupt in Angata Barikoi, Transmara South. Chaos erupted on Sunday morning after a known youth attempted to steal herd of cattle from their counterparts before it was foiled by an anti-stock theft unit in the area. More than 6 people are receiving treatment in various medical facilities after sustaining gunshot and arrow wounds during the fierce engagement. Several acres of sugarcane plantation were also torched. Bodies of the deceased were moved to the Lolgorian as tension remains high in the area. Tonight, the history of one of Kenya's oldest estates, Makongeni, is being rewritten as bulldozers bring down homes passed down through generations, making way for the government's affordable housing project. Over 3,000 families now face the uncertainty of starting life afresh in a new environment, with each household receiving 150,000 shillings as facilitation for relocation. The government has acquired the 139-acre site, and the first phase of the redevelopment is set to deliver 5,000 modern housing units.
The row of bulldozers fills Makongeni Estate as they clear everything in their path. One of Nairobi's iconic estates, home to hundreds of thousands for over a century, is now coming crumbling down. The government's affordable housing program promises modern homes as a solution to the city's housing crisis. But for residents, although it comes with a 150,000 shillings, it's a painful moment. History, memories, and community erased in a matter of hours.
Nilikuwa naishi hapa, tumeishi hapa for almost 20 years. Na leo hii ndio tumebomolewa. Notice pia tulipewa notice lakini tumeharakishwa na ni uchungu na umma. Mimi wakati nyumba yangu nimeona ikiangushwa, sasa hivi yenye niko sina penye papa kwenda. Bado na gamble venye naweza toka hapa. Jenye hata hiyo fedha yenye ametupatia haitoshi kabisa. Wezi patia mtu 150 na nyumba huko sasa hivi unajua vile ni gali huko nje.
Just a few blocks away, Jane Thenya scrambles to gather her belongings before the bulldozer hits her home. After more than 30 years, she still struggles to accept that the place she called home will be gone in seconds. For Jane, however, this upheaval also prevents a chance to return to her rural home in Emali Makueni County and start life afresh.
150 nimepata, lakini mashida haitoshei, ni kidogo sana. Leo tulikuwa tunalipa 1500. Sasa hiyo ukienda kuambiwa 12 utalipa ukitoa wapi? Eli niende nyumbani.
For families with school-going children, the demolition is an even bigger challenge. Beyond finding new homes, they now face the uphill task of enrolling their children in new schools. adding uncertainty and stress to an already difficult situation.
Nishapata nyumba Kayole, niko na familia kubwa, nyumba ni ndogo na pia ni expensive. So itabidi tu nijifinye tu na hapo, sina otherwise, na hiyo compensation walikuwa nasema sijalipwa mpaka sasa.
Nikiangalia kwa kusema kweli Nairobi mzima, hii ndio mji ya mahasla. Sababu sisi ndio tunalipa nyumba bei ya chini kabisa. Na ya pili hatuna hata kazi, ni ukweli. No wonder hata hizi nyumba mkifuatilia kwa railway mnapata hizi nyumba hata kuzilipa inakuanga matanga kwetu.
The demolition will not only affect homes but also schools and places of worship. Joseph Apudo Comprehensive School is among the institutions set to be removed, making way for new schools as part of the planned redevelopment of the 139-acre site. The government, which has acquired the land from Kenya Railways, says 3,600 verified families have already been facilitated to vacate their homes. According to records, only 39 families are yet to receive the facilitation fee of 150,000 shillings and the card that guarantees them first priority when the project is completed. Even as the Kenya Kwanza administration hails the affordable housing program as the answer to the housing needs in the country for the residents of Makongeni who have lived in this place for over 5 decades, it is an end of an era which leaves them in limbo. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Makongeni, Nairobi.
A story compellingly told by Gatete Njoroge. Tonight, the opposition and government are locked in a blame game over alleged plans to spark violence ahead of the Mbeere North by-election on November the 27th. Each side accusing the other of plotting chaos, while the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, claims the government is pouring millions into campaigns instead of development. Melita Oletenges with the latest.
Political temperatures in Mbeere North are boiling over as the by-election nears. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua are trading sharp accusations over alleged violence plots as they engage in full-blown war of words.
So we have nothing to fear. Watu ya Mbeere North, hawa watu wanatisha hapa, watu ni watu kidogo. Na mimi nataka kusema kama Daudi kwa Biblia, huyu Goliathi mnaoona leo, Alhamisi ijayo, huyu Goliathi nitamwangusha.
Tunataka kujua William Ruto mkiwa na Kindiki, bei ya uhai ni pesa ngapi? Bei ya uhai ni pesa ngapi William Ruto mkiwa na Kindiki? Mtuambie kama ni milioni 10 William Ruto na Kindiki.
Gachagua is also accusing the government of splashing cash on campaigns instead of development. Claims that DP Kindiki rubbishes, saying Gachagua achieved nothing while he was in office.
Soprano wamezunguka hapa na pesa na magunia. Wa Mbeere wamekula. Hiyo pesa imetumika Mbeere zaidi ya milioni 600 ili tosha kuunganisha kila boma Mbeere North ikuwe na stima. I'm telling you.
Na uachane na mimi. Ukiendelea kunitusi, wewe mzee, wewe nitakuvua nguo. Wewe nitakuweka aibu. Nitakuweka aibu. Mimi nimekuwa waziri wa usalama wa taifa, najua mambo mengi. Usicheze na mimi, nitakuvua nguo wewe. Wewe.
Meanwhile, at PCEA Kiambu Church, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka is raising alarm over alleged voter bribery, claiming voters are being paid and required to prove they backed government-supported candidates at the ballot.
Kila mama 5,000. Niambie huyu ni uchaguzi jamani? Huyu ni uchaguzi. And it's everywhere. And the constitution itself is saying if you are a government minister or a state officer, you cannot take part in an election campaign.
With the official campaign window closing at 6 p.m. on Monday, grassroots mobilization is in overdrive, with a showdown between Newton Kariuki of the DP party and Leonard Wamuthende of UDA expected to be an outcome to signal who truly commands Mount Kenya, the government or the opposition. Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV.
A fiery exchange there between the former and serving deputy presidents. Still on the by-election campaign trail, a section of the United Opposition leaders were in Nyamira to drum up support for Jeremiah Ongaro, a UPA candidate in Ekerenyo ward. The leaders, who include Jubilee Deputy Party Leader Fred Matiang'i, Martha Karua and George Natembeya, claimed a plot to rig the November 27th by-elections in UDA strongholds. With more is Crispin Otieno.
The charged opposition team snaked through Ekerenyo ward from Chepilat to Ekonge before their mega rally at Ekerenyo grounds in Nyamira County. In a show of solidarity, the leaders drummed up support for the UPA candidate as they vowed to remain united to lock out President Ruto and his allies from their regions.
Wamekuwa wakisema ya kwamba wakisi ile wanataka tu ni pesa kidogo wachague mtu yake. Hiyo ni kweli. Tukionyesha fisi meno atakuja kukuuma mara ya pili. Mimi naomba msimame nasi na msimame na Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i.
Hiyo hongo usijaribu kuleta katika kinyang'anyiro cha MCA ya Ekerenyo ward. Kwa sababu tutakufinya.
The opposition outfit also dismissed push by President Ruto to elevate the country to first world status, instead asking him to first deal with corruption within his government.
Tunaunda team ambayo inaitwa Kenya One kama Harambee Stars, ndio? Lengo kubwa ni kumpeleka Ruto wapi? Ruto ni muongo, si muongo. Alisimama kule bunge akasema eti amelinda kilimo, ati wakulima wa chai, ati amewapatia bonus ila hamjawahi ona. Vile mnaona our president saying anataka inji iende Singapore style, na anazungumza vile atatumia pesa trilioni 5. Hajui shida ya kwenda huko sio pesa. Shida ya kwenda huko ni kwamba mawaziri wake wote mnawajua ni waizi. Pesa ya kutupeleka huko wanakula.
Dr. Matiang'i, who is the current Jubilee Deputy Party Leader, also condemned what he termed as weaponizing the country's security docket for political expediencies.
Hawa wakubwa wa security tulifanya kazi na wao wengi na tunawajua vizuri sana. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kanja. Unajua kuna namna ya kuendesha watu namna hii na ushenzi, anapo wanafikiri hivyo ndivyo nchi inapaswa kuendeshwa. Wakenya hawawezi kukubali maneno kama haya. Na tusiharibu nchi yetu kwa sababu ya siasa duni na mambo ya pesa na upumbavu kama huo.
Similar salvos were also directed towards Prime Cabinet Secretary and the National Assembly Speaker, who were told to prepare for a battle royale in Western Region. Crispin Otieno, Citizen TV.
We take a break on Citizen Sunday Live, but as you saw in those reports on the by-election campaign trail, mambo ni noma si noma, fire si fire, but hopefully the by-elections themselves will be peaceful and free and fair. We take a break, but here is what you can expect on the other side. Coming up, the rising lakes crisis. Thousands at risk as Baringo and Bogoria swell beyond their shores, threatening mass displacement.
Kona juice for you, kinywaji true, ka flavor tamu sana boo. For me and you, flavor gani unataka boo? We save matu, oskini kona mango passion, apple na ka tropical. Oskini kona juice.
Mod, I see city girl, and I set it for you. Don't kona juicy vibe, some passion for two.
masosema sambu tuwezi kosapo ka juice yangu ikujeka iko cool neza donjwapo kwa pool you want a mango one come take it from me apple na kucha naye so you juice it for me so you juice it for me so you juice it for me can you juice so you juice and you juice it for me
juice shatu bamba unaweza rudia juice shika sana na baridi ndena moja mbili tatu cheki juice shatu pulo
flavor ya kipekee
niko na juice
kubeba yangu pekee
niko na juice
niko na yangu mimi na wewe
niko na juice
mimi na wewe so juice it for me.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pearl extract for visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow. Skin is for celebrating my shade of beautiful. Nivea is for skin.
Taki premium, nataka premium original.
Hata hii premium iko sawa.
Nataka premium original ya Kavagara. Mbona hata mimi ananiconfuse? Nilitaka premium original na ni ya Kavagara.
Shushu sichukue ingine kama si ya Kavagara.
Aha, hivyo ndivyo kinaumana ukikosa original premium.
Nilitaka premium original na ni ya Kavagara. Kama huna premium original nirudishie pesa yangu. Waumbiria wajue. Premium original ni hii ya Kavagara na ngano ndio hii.
Raha premium Kavagara kwa raha ya familia.
Kote nchini mbele tuendelee mbele Kenya
Kenya twende mbele. NCBA, go for it.
This festive season, find your balance in Bali, where sacred temples, ocean waves, and warm hearts welcome you home. Because peace isn't found, it is felt in the slow mornings, quiet sunset, and shared smiles. From just $2,030 per person sharing, enjoy 5 serene nights of tropical beauty, island culture, and soulful connection. Breathe in the calm and carry it home. View travel, moments that matter, memories that last.
Join our General Overseer, Bishop Dr. Mark Karaoke, and all our apostolic bishops for a grand celebration like no other. From 2nd to 5th December at the ASK Grounds, Nairobi, experience 4 days of power-packed ministry with Bishop Tudor Bismarck, Bishop Joe Imakando, Dr. David Ireland, as we thank God for 55 glorious years. All are welcome.
Guys, mwezeni wait?
Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby,
SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Chris man, hii Christmas itakuwa disco matanga bila wewe.
Atenya masitamu.
Ish majamaa. Okay, wacha basi nimtumie. Oh, si tena.
It's all about and inshallah.
Ukisiwa na maneno, cheza vile unafia.
Are you a Kenya government civil servant na uko na emergency? Usijibox kwa noma. Borrowing on MyMobi has never been easier. Simply register, apply, approve, and get your cash in minutes. Dial *531# and get up to 20,000 shillings to sort your emergency and pay from your next payslip. No paperwork, no drama. Ni wewe tu na simu yako. With MyMobi, now you're in control.
Are you looking for something? No. What made you think of that when I'm just cleaning, since it's my job here? You, madam, do you need anything? No.
Ndo sasa fomu ya kushinda milioni na shangwe 25. Ukitumia Safaricom unapata nafasi ya kuwa mshindi popote ulipo.
Thank you for staying with us on Citizen Sunday Live. And as promised, here is Citizen Planet by Brenda Wanga. Communities residing around Lakes Baringo and Bogoria are facing a serious threat as water levels from the two rise, leading to possible merging of the two, a situation that could cause great danger to humans and wildlife in the area. The two lakes, one fresh and the other alkaline, host different organisms, and their merger could lead to an ecological disaster. Here is more.
For years now, nearly a decade, the waters of Lake Baringo and Lake Bogoria have slowly but surely been rising. But this increase in the volume and spread of the lake has not come with good tidings. Those residing on the shorelines of these lakes are facing an existential crisis. Homes are covered by the waters, schools are no more, and life as they knew it is slowly being swallowed by the waters.
Maji imesonga kiwango ingine tuweze kuvumilia. So far ukitazama upande hii, maji imekuja kabisa, imetoa watu tangu 2018. Imetoa watu huko chini kabisa. Sasa hii maji imekuja imesidi kwa ile mwendo imetutoa kwa lazima.
Ni miaka mingi ilikuwa namna hii. Na tulisposaliwa tulikuwa naona lake mbali sana huko. Mbaya tungeweza kufikiria kwamba maji takuja hapa. Tukiongea saa hii kuna families wengi wamehama.
These two lakes were once separated by nearly 20 kilometers of acacia bush and barren land. Now these two are inching towards a catastrophic embrace.
Bogoria and Baringo is that if the rising water level continues, then there's a likelihood of the two ecosystems merging. If any mixing, then there's a likelihood of water flowing from Lake Bogoria, which is saline, to Lake Baringo, which is a freshwater system. So this is likely to affect the ecosystem, especially the biodiversity in Lake Baringo, which is supported by fresh water.
The two lakes will meet. We will have what is called an ecological disaster. For example, the fisheries will be affected completely. And we have approximately over 30,000 people depending on Lake Baringo. So we don't know what will happen in terms of food security.
Bogoria, a world-renowned alkaline lake that hosts an estimated 3 million flamingos, waters have burst their banks and began flowing towards Lake Baringo. Entire villages, key infrastructure, and farmland now lie submerged. The main entry gate to Lake Bogoria is already half underwater. Becoming the third gate to be overtaken by the rising water, permanent buildings, a hospital, and surrounding facilities have been swallowed, dealing a heavy blow to tourism in the region.
Secondly, employment has gone down because most facilities have been closed down, they've been shut down. And people depend on employment from these tourism facilities. People get employment, they educate their children, and now we are losing those jobs. So people are going back to square one. So education level is going down, as affected indirectly by the water level rising, because the domino effect can be felt.
At Loboi Center, residents are racing against time. Dan Kipkirui, a carpenter, demolishes a home as water crept close. Residents say the last time the water came this dangerously close was nearly a century ago.
Sofa watu wamehama hapa, tumetoa watu manyumba tumeenda huko, lakini tumekosa sofa, tumekosa mahali pa kuishi. Shortage imekuwa ya manyumba, hakuna mahali watu wanaweza lala. Mpaka watu wanaishi kwa maduka ndani.
Kifuu mnaitwa Lake 94 imekutana na Baringo. Hata tunahofia hata inaweza enda kukutana na hiyo ya Baringo. Tunasikia maneno hapa inasema dudu hapa ndani. Hatuelewi kama hii lake inaweza kusink ama itakuwa namna gani, kwa sababu hatujawahi kusikia kitu kama hiyo. Inapiga kelele usiku. Na hiyo kelele hatujui ni ya nini. Unaona? Hatuwezi tukajua. Lakini tunaomba Mungu kwamba haitafanyika kitu mbaya.
Those who have been tracking the water levels at the lakes say the rising levels began accelerating in 2011. Research now indicates that the two lakes are already connected underground. The impact of this merger will be devastating.
We speak at around 2025 is the rising level has really gone beyond the level that we've been experiencing. Lake Bogoria has been actually like around 34 kilometers square in terms of water coverage. The water mass body. But as we speak now, I think the satellite image gives us around 10 to 11 kilometers square increment, which has really gone beyond even the boundary of the lake.
So I believe it's better to do conservation. It's better to ask our communities to conserve the remaining wetlands, because the functions of wetlands is filtration. But if the wetlands is depleted for now, then Lake Bogoria water will run quickly down to Lake Baringo and it will change everything.
Indeed, the merger threatens more than just the biology and homes. It is also drowning an economy. 10 years back, this shoreline was a thriving hub of local and international tourism. Specialists warn that even the slightest increase in rain could push Bogoria over the spill edge. This is because Bogoria sits slightly higher than Baringo geographically. Gravity will force its alkaline water directly into Lake Baringo's freshwater basin. As water levels continue to rise, the threat of an irreversible environmental disaster looms over both lake ecosystems and the communities that depend on them. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Coming up, an exclusive one-on-one with First Lady Rachel Ruto on 16 years of transforming lives through the Joyful Women Organization.
Hii siyo credit card tu, ni boost ya biashara yako. Get interest-free working capital, ongeza stock, lipa suppliers bila stress na Absa Business Credit Card. SMS card to 22268 ku apply. Absa, your story matters.
Hey, we got out and
kama skiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *812*788#. Kumbuka, Skiza na Citizen ni nyumbani kwa wasanii wote.
Teke na Wigo Boda. Chanua Jam, fika on time at the lowest charges in town. Vaa helmet and ride in style. Ni safi, ni safe, na ni easy kwa mfuko yako. Wigo, your trusted ride. Download the app now. Ama SMS Wigo to 20425. You'll fike right on time. Wigo, your trusted ride.
Sometimes I need a fragrance to keep me calm, stays fresh in the heat and feels elegant into the night, lasting longer than expensive perfumes. New Downy, lavender calm, sunrise fresh and sweet elegance, freshness that inspires confidence.
Chris man, hii Christmas itakuwa disco matanga bila wewe.
Hata nyama sitamu.
Ish majamaa.
Okay, wacha basi nimtumie.
Si tena.
It's all about and inshallah.
Ukisiwa na maneno, cheza vile unafeel.
Why do 7 out of 10 kids have cavities, sir? Because whatever this toothpaste has for cavity protection, isn't enough. Double Herbal contains clove. My mother says it contains eugenol, which is 100% effective in cavity protection. Where there's clove, there's no cavity.
Get your value pack today.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Welcome to Boma Mabati Factory, the winners of 2025 roofing solutions. All our products come with warranty and are kept certified. Be part of our many satisfied customers by visiting us to enjoy great discounts. Boma Mabati Factory, Mabati Poa, near Boma.
Welcome to the Mangu Gardens Open Weekend on the 29th and the 30th of November 2025.
Mangu Gardens boasts premium serviced 8th and quarter-acre plots located off exit 16 of the Thika Superhighway. You will enjoy graded roads, a perimeter wall with a gatehouse, power and water on site. You get to select your preferred house typology from available options. Plot prices start from 4.5 million shillings. Titles are ready and financing is available from HFC. Text Mangu to 21938 or call us on 0793 888 833.
Come, find out more at the Open Weekend.
For us kutumia mkojo wa ng'ombe ni ku make sure that you eat safe, avoid kuharibu mazingira na pia afya yako.
I'm embarrassed to my daughter.
Welcome Naivas Kikwetu to your home this year. Tunasherekea customers wetu Kikwetu kila siku.
Again, thank you for staying with us on Citizen Sunday Live. And Brenda Wanga, that Citizen Planet was extremely moving. Just listening to Joseph, Dan and Fox's stories. You can share your thoughts. The SMS line is 22422. You can also reach us on X at Obarrows at Citizen TV Kenya. And the hashtag is Citizen Sunday Live. In 2009, long before she became First Lady, Rachel Ruto founded Joyful Women Organization, a non-profit to empower women excluded from the financial sector. Joyful Women has been facilitating economic empowerment through the table banking model, where women form groups, save money, borrow and repay. She sat down with Nimrod Tabu to reflect on the empowerment journey 16 years later. Take a look.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for having us here in Eldoret in the County of Uasin Gishu. We truly are blessed to have you and also share with us a little bit about table banking. You're celebrating 16 years of what a noble cause this has been. But Your Excellency, let's start with the first question, which is, for people who understand banking, it's very different from what table banking is today. Table banking is a very simple idea. But what is the philosophy about table banking? And as I understand, there are human truths, which is experiences and examples from people you've touched their lives through table banking. But what was the philosophy behind table banking as you started 16 years ago?
Thank you. So thank you so much, Nimrod, and it's really good to have you. I can say that the philosophy of table banking was really going down to those that had not been reached. You realize that many commercial banks, for example, the people that really get access into those banks are the people who live in cities and into towns. But the table banking concept and its philosophy is going to the unreached, to the excluded financially. And for us at Joyful Women, it was the women of this country. And that is why we went down to the rural areas, to the villages, to teach women issues of financial inclusion. Because these people in the rural areas, women even and men, they do small businesses. And some of them have to travel, many kilometers to go into towns or cities into a commercial bank. But when you think about table banking, it's like really bringing the bank right into the comfort of your sitting room, into that table, on that sitting room. That is why it is called table banking. So it was really more, building these people and telling them that, it is possible for you. You are also like the people who do businesses in the city. The money that you make in the rural areas, you can also come onto this table, save your money, borrow, and continue to build your enterprises. So I can say that that was really the philosophy, reaching the unreached and telling them that, they also play a big part, in the economy of this nation. And even the money that sometimes they even, get by selling their enterprises, instead of keeping them in the house, bring them onto the table. Let's have this group so that this money can circulate and we can grow this money, so that we can even do bigger things. And with time, the table banking, they have grown and they have even gone to the commercial banks and to the microfinance institutions.
All right. Banking as we know it is a high-risk business. And this has been a hindrance, especially for the women in Kenya, accessing finance. There's an issue about trustworthiness. Do you think that was a hindrance before, so that women were not able to access financial assistance, and therefore table banking has changed that altogether for them?
Sure. The thing also about the loans, the commercial loans, is that I think those many years, there was a concept that people really started fearing. And even especially the farmers, because I remember growing up in the rural areas, people really feared, loans, because they imagined that maybe if I take a loan and I'm not able to repay, something of mine, might be repossessed. Maybe my farm, I may put my family into a lot of trouble. But of course, table banking has changed that narrative, because these women can see their money. You know, sometimes also with the bank, I think when you have to go and bank your money, verify in a bank, you're not really sure. But, you know, table banking has changed that because these women are able to see their money, because when they save this money, they actually see that it is going back into their pockets. They see the money coming in saving and then in borrowing, and it goes back into the pockets. So it has really changed that concept to say that it has actually demystified that concept of thinking that, you know, I cannot even go to a commercial bank. And I've really seen that even, you know, that mind shift, that mindset change among the women and even among even the few men that continue to do table banking.
Okay. Your Excellency, this was a small idea from the rural to the rural people, and it has become so huge. It wasn't about targeting the people or the women in urban centers, but just the ones in the rural areas. What has surprised you most? The uptake, these women coming together in huge groups, deciding that they're going to start a group in order to do table banking. What has surprised you most?
Actually, what has surprised me so much, Nimrod, like you say, is the exponential growth. Like when we began with very few women, we thought it could remain there. Little did we know that this concept of table banking is what the people are waiting for. It actually came to fill a gap because, you know, women naturally, if I may go back, is that they are always in a chama, as we call them in Kenya. But what they were doing at the beginning was just the normal merry-go-rounds, where, you know, we give you money this month, then the next month we go to the other woman, and then we go around like that. But, you know, when the table banking concept came, it gave everybody an equal chance, you know, closing that gap. That when we come to the table, like I said, we can save and actually borrow, each one of us. I don't have to wait for 12 months. I don't have to wait for, you know, 24 months before I can get my money. Because, you know, when women wait for so long, even prices of things change. And maybe the business that I wanted to do that time, I'm not able to do. So I have seen this table banking really fill that gap and grow exponentially. Like we started in small villages. Before long, we were in the whole constituency of Eldoret, not that time. And of course, when Echi became deputy president in 2013, we took this concept to the entire nation. And we saw just the money of the women grow, you know, from saving 50 shillings, from saving 100 shillings. A woman started saving 500 shillings. You know, they started taking bigger loans. And in that taking bigger loans, they started growing their business. And it has really taught me that with the availability of finances, women can do great things. You know, maybe somebody started with chicken. Before long, they have sheep. Before long, they have a cow. Before long, they have a kiosk. Before long, they have even bought a plot and they are putting up a building. So I have really seen what table banking can do and what availability of finances to people of Kenya and even to our women can do. It just grows the economy. You know, when we talk about the total revolving fund, I remember those early days, we could talk about 60,000 revolving fund this week. The next week, we talk about, you know, 150,000. And today, we talk about billions when you put it all together. You see the billions that the women revolve, and this money is in the economy. They use it every day to do their businesses. So I've really seen growth. And it really impresses me just to see that the lives of these women can be changed, you know, by just giving them that opportunity, sometimes that opportunity that they lack.
I'll let you give us examples of some of the women and some of the successes. But before we get there, Your Excellency, maybe let me ask this question. This is truly an entrepreneurship. But like any other business, there has challenges, there are ups and downs. Which to you were the biggest challenges when you started this? And then two, were there challenges that you felt at the beginning that were insurmountable?
You're very right, Nimrod. First of all, for me, the challenges that, you know, I saw those days was when I personally went, you know, to the rural areas and to the communities, training the women on the concept of table banking. And sometimes when you go to train and you're telling them this concept that, of course, was written by government, you are not sure whether this woman would actually receive it. So we would go to meetings, we talk to them about the concept of table banking, and we let them think. So for me at the beginning, I was like, you know, maybe we are doing something, you know, that will not really see the light of day because of that belief, you know, because, you know, issues of money are very emotive issues. You know, you are talking about money. So at that time, you know, I saw that challenge that, you know, I was not sure whether the women would really pick that concept of table banking. And secondly, Nimrod, of course, you know, the issues of money. After the women had received this concept of table banking, embraced it, there are challenges that come, especially with the default. You know, you have taken your loan from your table, you have gone, you've put it in a certain business, but maybe something happens, especially most of the women that we worked with were in the agricultural sector. Maybe the rains failed that year. Maybe I planted late. Maybe something came, you know, some pests, insects or something came and destroyed my crops. And I don't have money to take back to my group. So we started seeing trends of now defaults. And you know, this is money that belongs to many women. So we have not been without challenges. And but we have continued to do capacity building. We have continued to bring solutions here and there. We have worked with different partners just to help these women surmount these problems. And you know, I can also tell you, even as an organization, because when an organization starts small and then it grows, it comes with challenges, especially challenges of human resource. So sometimes, you know, training the right people, getting the right people to be able, because we have the teachers, we call them teachers, that sit with these women when they are doing their table banking, just to help them through the table banking. So at one point, of course, because also the organization was growing very fast, we started having challenges of human resource. But I must say that, you know, by the grace of God, we have continued to surmount these challenges. And 16 years, you can see, we have not given up. We would have closed shop and said, this thing is not doable, but we have never given up.
All right. Your Excellency, I'd like to know how you were able to circumvent and deal with financial illiteracy. Because, you know, when you're dealing with rural areas, you find that a lot of women, young women who are newly married, do not really understand what financial literacy is. And then add to that, there's the issue of culture. How did you think men perceived women who were willing to become entrepreneurs through table banking? And was that a challenge? Was that a hindrance? And how did you go about it?
You're very right. The issues of financial literacy are issues that we had to deal with. And what we did is we partnered with the partners that were dealing with their financial literacy. Like I can tell you that we approached banks, for example. Different banks, let me not name the banks, but different banks. And we asked them, because we did not have the capacity that time, we asked them to come to the ground with us. And now that the women were also growing their business, that maybe the women could also open now, you know, accounts, you know, with those banks. So they came and they went on the ground and they started training women on financial literacy. Just telling a woman that, yes, you're here, you have your small farm, you have your small kiosk. How do you do your books, you know? Do you pay yourself a salary? I remember that is a question that they asked most of the women. Do you pay yourself a salary or you do it as a charity? And so the women started understanding. And when it comes to the issues of women and money and men, I can tell you, Nimrod, that the men have been very, very supportive when it comes to women and table banking. Because, you know, table banking is done in homes. So you cannot, especially for women, you know, who are married, you know, your husband will know that, you know, you have visitors today and you are coming to do your chamas. So the men, I can say, have been very, very supportive. I remember Nimrod, one time, one lady really wanting to join a table banking group, and she did not have money. She borrowed 1,000 shillings from her husband that morning and told him, I'm going for a table banking group. And when she went for that table banking group, she saved that 1,000 shillings. Because it was a short-term loan, she borrowed ×2 her saving, and she got 2,000. And she took it back home, repaid her husband the 1,000, and used the 1,000 that she had borrowed to start her business. And I remember when I visited this lady, she had started doing tree nurseries, you know, and she was selling the seedlings, you know, to the schools, you know, to the neighbors. Every market day, she used to take the seedlings to the market and she used to sell them. And that lady, when I met her, said that she had really desired to learn computers. And through table banking, she had enrolled with the nearby computer school in her shopping center. And now she was learning to use computers because she told me that, Mom, I know the Kenya of tomorrow, you have to be a little bit tech. You need to know how to use computers. And she continued growing. So men have been very supportive. I can assure you, at least I have seen that. Sometimes even the women were not, maybe because of the business, they were not able to pay. The men gave them the money. And sometimes even when the women borrowed that money, they brought it home and they were able to use it, to do business together, with the family. So men have been very supportive, I can say.
Thank you, Excellency. Your Excellency, my next question is about, celebrating 16 years. It's not, simply 12 years added into 16 years. It's been tough. I know it's been challenging, but I'm sure you look back and you're happy about it. Today, you're talking about 240,000 women who are engaging in table banking. You have more than 4,000, 4,500 groups. If I'm not wrong, I understand the concept actually started from here. Yes. Just tell us how simple it was to start it and what gave you the drive to start it, and how did it come about?
Thank you so much, Nimrod. I'm so excited, and I thank God every time I think about the 16 years we are celebrating. Nimrod, right here where we are seated, Joyful Women Organization was started on the 29th of August of 2009 under this tree where we are today. In 1997, when His Excellency, now our President, was taking his first chance in the politics of Eldoret North, I helped him to campaign, just going to talk to the women. And Nimrod, I'll never forget this day when I went to one of the villages, and as I was talking to about 50 women who were just seated under a tree, just, on grass, right seated in front of me was this one lady who was very joyful. She had the broadest smile. She was looking at me, talking to them. But when I looked closely, she did not have shoes, and she looked like she had not even had breakfast. I remember looking at her, and my mind started spinning. And I asked myself, how is it possible that she came to this meeting without shoes? What about her children? And that is the time I made a prayer to God. I didn't tell them anything. In my mind, I just made a prayer to God, and I said, if my husband makes it to Parliament, I want to come back and do something with these women, something that transforms them, something that will enable every woman to put shoes on her feet, something that will enable the women dress well, something that will enable the women, do something for their families. And I remember, by the grace of God, Echi made it to Parliament in that December of 1997. And we went back to the city. I used to come back to the village. But I was wondering, so what do I do with these women? Because I was looking for sustainability. I wanted something that would sustain itself, because I didn't want just to give, handouts, because, that has its lifetime. So I really wanted something that was sustainable. And by the grace of God, 12 years later, now in 2009, I came across the concept of table banking, which is a concept that had been actually crafted by the then Poverty Eradication Commission. And after going through the document, I asked if I could go to a place that concept had been piloted, and it had been piloted in Bondo and in Gatanga. So I went to Gatanga with friends of mine, and I saw table banking really being done practically. And immediately I knew that was the thing. And that is when, on the 29th of August of 2009, I came back to Eldoret North under this tree with 60 women, and Joyful Women was born, to carry the concept of table banking to the women of Eldoret North, the concept of financially including them, the concept of telling that you have this money on your hand, do business. Do not depend on your husband. Support your husband, for those who are married. For single mothers, support your children. Let's support one another. Let's learn what it means to make money. And looking at 16 years, because after that it was Eldoret North, and then now 2014, 2015, it was, traversing the nation of Kenya, when Echi was deputy president, and we went to every county of this country. And even after that, we went to villages, teaching women issues of financial inclusion and telling them when you have your money, you can do great things. And I can tell you, Nimrod, 240,000 members and counting, each one of them has a story. If we were to tell their stories, we will tell them for the next century. We will tell them for so many years. I just like to hear those stories, you know, how they began, not having money, but going into the tables, borrowing, you know, that togetherness, you know, women coming together, loving one another. Because in table banking, we usually tell women, do not go and look for women from very far. Just bring your neighbors. You know, and apart from table banking, you know, just the money that they do, there is that social aspect also, where they meet because we are neighbors, you know. My daughter is getting married, my son is getting married, let's come together. You know, maybe I've lost a loved one, you know, let's come cry together. So we have also seen that table banking has also brought that closeness, and the women and the neighbors have become very neat. So it's exciting. And every year from 2010, we celebrate these women. We began celebrating them, you know, here in Eldoret North, now, you know, Uasin Gishu County. And then we came to the stadium here when the people in Nandi and the people of Trans Nzoia joined. And now when we went to the entire country, we celebrate it in Nairobi. And Nimrod, I hope you have time to join us that day. You can just see the joy and the happiness in the faces of those women. You see them having transformed their lives. You see them dancing and just being joyful. So for me, it is really, really exciting, despite the challenges like we've shared that we've gone through. But, you know, we are looking at the future and we are seeing, you know, even beyond the 16 years.
Mm-hmm. Your Excellency, I know, as you say, there's so many experiences and examples we can draw from women who have been very successful through table banking. But I'd like you to share with us and Kenyans, which one speaks volume the most? An incident where, you know, somebody came from, you know, very low income earning, joined table banking. Today, they're huge entrepreneurs. Maybe you could just share an example. It's one that speaks huge volumes to you.
You're very right, Nimrod. There are many stories. But allow me to share with you the story of one lady who is differently abled, even right now. I attended a meeting, and this lady actually put her hand up because she wanted to give her story. And when she gave her story, we realized that in that county, she was the highest saver. And being the highest saver in that county, you can imagine a woman that is differently able. She told us that she wanted to buy a tractor so that she can be using that tractor, you know, to till her land, and for the tractor to be rented so that other people can use, so that she can continue having an income. And she actually got the tractor after that day. And later on, she said that she wanted to build a petrol station. And she has been able to build that petrol station. So you can imagine a woman that is differently abled, you know, being the top saver, buying a tractor and building a petrol station. And she has continued to encourage other women because women go to her, even to learn from her and to see what she's doing. So I can say that is one story that has really touched me, apart from many others. The other one that really touched me was a group of women in one of the counties in our nation. I remember they came for a meeting and they were asked to give their story. And you can imagine, Nimrod, 15 women. They had started saving 200 shillings, 500 shillings. When I met them, that was about 5 years after they had begun their table banking. Each one of them had bought a plot in their city, in their county headquarters. And they had not just bought the plot, but they had started constructing rental houses. And maybe, God willing, I'll go back now and see whether they finished. I'm sure they finished. So those are the stories that really touch my heart. And like I say, every woman has a story. It is very encouraging when you listen to them.
All right. Your Excellency, my final two questions. One, what next for Joyful Women 16 years later? What should we expect? What should women in this country expect?
16 years going forward, Nimrod, I'm looking at building the next captains of industry, the next entrepreneurs. I could say building the next billionaires in this country. we have been doing table banking. We want to grow these women, to tell them, yes, you're doing table banking. But we want to bring more capacity building, to tell you that you can now grow your businesses. For example, if you have a kiosk, can you do a mini market? Can you move into a supermarket? So I want to see how we will continue working with these women, the same ones that have been doing table banking, to the next level, where we can say that they have done great things and we can see that their businesses have grown and they have gone beyond. And I know that is doable because I have seen them come from nothing to where they are today. And so just holding them for the next phase of their businesses and the next phase of their life. So we are really looking forward to building, the next great women, business women, captains of industry, names that will come from nowhere, names that are not known, but they'll have come from the story of table banking.
Okay. Your Excellency, my final question. As the name suggests, Joyful Women, it purely targets women. But I'd like to ask a question for you, who's a mother, who's a leader, about the young girl today who's about to give up in life. They've gone to university, they have literacy, but they cannot succeed. They don't know how to get into table banking, or somehow they think table banking is for the rural women. What do you have to say to them? What message do you have to them? Some of them who probably feel like the political class, both for men and women, has sort of let them down. They hardly get opportunity to get employment. Is table banking for that young girl too?
Thank you, Nimrod. I want to say that table banking is also for the young girls. In fact, I remember when we started those many years, the mothers did not leave their daughters. The mothers did not leave their daughters-in-laws. And even in our groups of table banking today, we have young girls. We've actually gone digital because we realized that that was a big hindrance. Because for many years, we used to do our things manually, but we realized that our young girls, would love to go to the next level of doing table banking digitally. So I want to tell our young girls that they should not be left behind. We talk about small beginnings. Sometimes when people look at table banking and they look at the 50 shillings or the 100 shillings, they think like, no, this is very little. But for our young girls, I want to tell them, let them start small. Now we have gone digital. They can use their phones to do their table banking. Let them come together with their friends, I have young girls who have come together when they get to the age of 18. They start their table banking group. We have one group of young girls who started like that. And now that they're 28 years old, so they've been doing table banking for 28 years. But they told us that we are not able to do this thing manually. That's how we went digital. So I want to tell our young girls that table banking is for them. And they can also grow the same way that their mothers have grown. And they will do great things the same way their mothers have done. I want to invite our young girls to join table banking because there is a place for them.
Joyful women spreading the joy.
I just asked Emmanuel Ndungu if he's a member of a chama, and then he asked me what is that. So assist me in explaining it to Emmanuel Ndungu.
Please explain.
Help with the words in English. SMS me 22.
Someone will have to.
422. At Barras and Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is Citizen Sunday Live. What's coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy the online comments from that one. But we have plenty of sports action coming up. We have the FKF Premier League, some motorsports, and a return of the Rugby Kenya Cup. So look forward to that.
The Homeboys dispatched the Rangers in a league tie. That and more after the break.
Angel, open this gate.
Lala, my uncle is not around.
Are you sure?
Yes, he just told me.
Viusasa brings you Emanuela.
Manela. What
Ordinary papi cannot prepare.
Hey!
There's never a dull moment around Emanuela.
Uncle Rano.
Why?
Catch this rib-cracking comedy only on Viusasa. There's so much entertainment on Viusasa.
Now, wow.
I'm not just a dreamer, I'm your thank you from the future. Mimi kesho yenu, umenijenga kwa umoja. I'm that possibility, sparking from the chance you gave to that child. Mimi kesho yako, uliniwezesha mimi kusimama imara. You gave me a place to stand, and I moved the world. Mimi ndiye kesho, asante.
Together, we are creating citizens of the future by transforming education in Kenya.
Dad, tap on Jumia app, order what you want, add to cart.
Punguza bei, weka simu ya 15,000.
Confirm. Plus, tunaweza rudisha within 7 days.
Kumbe ni rahisi hivyo.
Ai, ni Jumia bro.
Download Jumia app today.
Wase, mko ready to flip that rent script? With Kenya Mortgage Finance Company KMRC, your rent can now build your own keja. Get a home loan with a fixed single-digit rate chini ya 10% and repay pole pole for up to 25 years. No more landlord stress, just peace of mind kwa nyumba yako. KMRC home loans are available at leading banks and SACCOs countrywide. Jijenge na KMRC, rent yako, keja yako. Make your rent work for you.
Royal Mabati Factory Limited has early Christmas discounts. Deca roofing tiles at 500 a piece and steel trusses at 199 per kg. Enjoy free delivery anywhere in Kenya. Call 0722 638383 or order now at www.royalmabati.com.
Chris man, hii Christmas itakuwa disco matanga bila wewe.
Hata nyama sitamu.
Ish majamaa.
Okay, wacha basi nimtumie.
Si tena.
It's all about good vibes. And inshallah.
Ukiishiwa na maneno, cheza vile unafeel.
Dial *860*286# to get this song as your skiza tune.
This festive season, experience two worlds of one journey. From the vibrant streets of Kuala Lumpur to the modern charm of Singapore, because the best adventures connect culture, flavors, and moments that live far beyond the holiday. From just $2,200 per person sharing, enjoy 4 nights in Kuala Lumpur and 3 nights in Singapore. A fusion of tradition, culture, and wonder. Celebrate the season in color, culture, and connection. View travel, moments that matter, memories that last.
This Black November, Kidani Mabati just went crazy. Bei za Kidani Tile, Prime, Zig Tile, Box, Crimpled na Corrugated zimeshuka kwa asilimia kubwa, japo quality ni ile ile. Tunakufanyia free delivery hadi kwa site. Kazi yako ni kuorder tu na kuchill, alafu tunacheza kama sisi. Tupigie simu kwa 0709 118 300 ama utupate kwa tovuti yetu. Tujenge Kenya na Kidani Mabati this Black November.
Why do 7 out of 10 kids have cavities, sir? Because whatever this toothpaste has for cavity protection, isn't enough. Double Herbal contains clove. My mother says it contains eugenol, which is 100% effective in cavity protection. Where there's clove, there's no cavity.
Get your value pack today.
Baadaye auntie.
Mkuu, umetufikisha home poa. Asante. Pia wewe pata kakitu ikufikishe home.
Nunua any 280-gram Cadbury Dairy Milk Packs ama Cadbury Drinking Chocolate. Visit Cadbury.Africa uandikie someone special your heartfelt message ya kumshow thanks. T's and C's apply. Cadbury, there's a glass and a half in everyone.
Kuwa Mkenya ni kujitambua.
Toka mwanzo hadi leo tumekuwa pamoja. Kila kona, kila sauti, tunawasha ndoto popote ulipo. Popote ulipo. Popote ulipo. Tuko pamoja. Toka pwani hadi nyanda juu, kila moyo unasema tu asante kwa miaka 25. Safaricom, popote ulipo.
Na kesho kama leo tutakuwa pamoja popote ulipo. Safaricom.
Tell Hector to bring me the contract right now.
You've not seen anything yet. By the time I'm done with both of you, you will regret loving yourselves.
Dial *147# anytime to check your status or make another payment.
You're watching Sunday Live with Emmanuel Ndungu and Olive Burrows. Now let's get into the sports news. Kenya increased its medal tally at the ongoing Summer Deaflympics in Tokyo to 10, with Lucas Wandia and Elikana Rono successfully defending their titles in the men's 3,000-metre steeplechase and the 800 metres respectively. Lucas Wandia secured the gold medal in 9 minutes 6.95 seconds, while Jacob Kibet scooped silver and Chinese Shi Quantian claims the bronze medal. With the emphatic victory, Wandia has now won the Deaflympics men's steeplechase title 3 times in a row. In the men's 800-metre final, Rono had to dig deep towards the end to retain his title, clocking 1 minute 53.02 seconds. Kenya's medal tally on day 9 of the Deaflympics stands at 4 gold medals, 4 silver and 2 bronze.
So I tried my best. I was really fast and I tried to be the first always, but the competition was really tough. We had so many opponents who were making me feel stuck because we didn't have enough space to run. And just around the 100-meter mark, I decided to do my best and make sure that I finished fast after we passed the finish line. So it was just, I just won by a small margin.
The weather today was really cold, very, very cold. In fact, it was giving me a different thinking that maybe the things, everything may not go as we had planned because of the weather. It is really cold. But surprisingly, the only bad thing that we have gotten today is to miss 2 medals in 800 meters.
Now onto football. AFC Leopards came from a goal down to draw 1-1 with the Kariobangi Sharks in a Kenya Premier League match played at the Kasarani Stadium. At the same time, the Kakamega Homeboys closed game week 10 in 2nd place, having beaten Posta Rangers 2-0 at the Bukungu Stadium. Rogers Ouma scored the first goal in the 42nd minute before David Juma got the second 9 minutes to time. In another match played at St. Sebastian Park, Maranga Seal registered a 1-1 draw against Shabana FC.
Mekataa kwanza Bizante anakuja kumalizia mwenyewe. Hilary Otieno Seba.
Mchezo mgumu lakini tunashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa point 3. Umekuwa mchezo mgumu lakini pia nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu, nashukuru wachezaji wangu kwa determination na zile leo wameonyesha ili tuweze kupata win. Which ilikuwa ni muhimu sana kwetu kama timu.
Kiangalia kwanza mechi 6 tumeweza kufungua mabao 10 kwa mechi 6. Ambapo ukiangalia ni kama average ya bao simetu 2 kwa kila mechi, na ikifika mali kama hapo kuna swali kubwa sana tunajiuliza, kwa nini tunafungua bao kiwango kama hii ama zaidi ndaka hivyo? Na ndio mali pakubwa sana inafaa tuangalie, tushughulikie kwanza tufungwe hata kabla tutafikiria tutaenda kufunga mbele.
Now, after beating Rwanda in the Sekafa regional qualifiers in Addis Ababa on Friday, Kenya's under-17 junior stars have set their sights on South Sudan for their third game of the group stage. The junior stars have one win in 2, beating Rwanda and drawing against Somalia in their first game of the tournament. Speaking ahead of the crucial match against South Sudan, coach William Muluya said they aim to finish top of the group and make it to the next round. 3 teams from the tournament will book a slot in the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations, scheduled for next year in Morocco.
Tufai kufungwa kwanza. Juu ilileta pressure kwetu kwa technical bench, alafu hizo subs hawezi jua kitu kinawezafanyika, so hatutaki kuleta stress kwa technical bench. So kitu tunaweza fanya ni keep ball na kutafuta bao ya kwanza to avoid kufungwa kwanza, because hiyo pressure inaleta confusion na inaharakisha vitu, so inafanya tuna make a lot of mistakes kwa game.
One of the games against South Sudan, a side that is also very strong, a side that is coming from a loss against Ethiopia, but we need to try and win the game tomorrow to make it a good game against Ethiopia. Our qualification really depends on the results tomorrow.
Now on to motorsports. On-Song Keegan Mutuma has reminded his competition that he's hell-bent on winning the Kenya National Motocross Championship following his 5th straight win at the Jamhuri Park racetrack on Sunday. Keegan consolidated his lead in the standings after the weekend's race, meeting with 249 points, while Jed Kagundu sits second on 197 and Dylan Hatanga is third on 188. Jaden Wakungu is facing stiff competition in the MX50 with 154 points in third, with Fanga Kihungu and Justin Murithi in first and second respectively. Hard-charging Gihungu not only brought his A-game on Sunday, but also treated spectators in the stands to some thrilling displays.
I'm a motocross rider. I'm working on, as we are moving to 65cc bike, because he's been doing 50cc bike, now he's moving to 65cc bike. I'm looking at making him grow bigger in terms of competition, in terms of practice. I'm preparing him for a bigger race next year.
Here, Thanga was his second year riding in 50cc. He had a great season. Out of the 6 races that we've had this season, he's won all heats of the 5 races. And in this 6th race, he had a bit of a tough start. He came first in the first heat. In the second heat, he went down twice. And so he finished overall 3rd in this 3rd race.
We'll finish off with rugby. The 2025-26 Kenya Cup season kicked off with a bang as defending champions Cabras RFC, the Menengai Oilers and KCB all secured massive victories. KCB dismantled Impala 87-5 in a lopsided encounter at the KCB Sports Club. Following the win, KCB head coach Andrew Amonde praised the team's cohesion and hunger, applauding both the veterans and the new additions. Cabra Sugar, on the other hand, secured a commanding 67-6 victory over Masinda Muliro University, while last season's finalists, the Menengai Oilers, demolished the Daystar Falcons 76-16. In Nairobi, Kenya Harlequins secured a hard-fought 23-18 win over Nakuru RFC, with nondescripts cruising to a 30-12 victory over Kisumu. Take a look. all the Arsenal fans upstairs, including Abel and Ayub, said we must mention the Arsenal results. And of course we should, the North London derby. It was a 4-1 win to Arsenal with an Eberechi Eze hat-trick. So that's a big win for Arsenal's Premier League campaign. But we also have some big news in motorsports as well. A double disqualification for Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri from the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Max Verstappen is now just 24 points behind in second in the championship. He has the same points as Piastri, but on countback he has more wins, so he'll be in second place. 2 races to go. Qatar is a sprint race, and then Abu Dhabi to finish the season. So that is one to watch, the Formula One season to finish off.
All right, before we bid a good night, we did promise to take a look at some of your feedback on the stories we've aired tonight. And who do we have first up, Emmanuel?
So we have engineer Azario. So kudos to the First Lady. Her joyful woman journey has grown from just small table banking Sacco to one of the celebrated organizations with over 200,000 members.
All right, let's see who we have up next. And it's Okelo Mwalimu, who says, as the electorate prepare for by-elections, I'd like to warn those that have already accepted different types of bribes in the form of sugar, unga, money, etc., not to expect any meaningful service delivery. Once elected, the quote, big boys will recover every penny spent.
Now, John Musang 7262. The government should take early action to prevent water in Lake Bogoria and Baringo from flooding in people's homes. Also, Polesana to the families who have lost their loved ones and quick recovery to the injured ones in Machakos accident. The drivers should be more careful during this festive season.
All right, and we have Orutwa Sam, who says, if we can experience such amount of election violence from very few by-elections, mostly for MCAs and a few MPs, what will happen come 2027 general election if both opposition and government are warring factions?
We have Is Kipleting. Joyful Women Group has been able to empower many women across the country. They are running businesses, have become financially independent, and driving growth of our economy. The future is women. Keep up the good work.
All right, looks like it's going to be a busy week ahead with the by-election set for Thursday. But thank you for keeping us company tonight on Citizen Sunday Live. I've been your host, Olive Burrows.
And I'm Emmanuel Ndungu. Thanks very much for joining us tonight.
And Belinda Phillips has been a sign language interpreter. Good night and have a great start to the week.
Good night.